I'm sweetheart.
Kill the Facebook audio. Okay. There you go.
Thank you,
Sit down
sweetheart.
there and we're gonna hit record.
Okay. Hello.
Hi, Mary.
Thank you.
There we
Good
go.
morning.
So that, I'd like it to be the other thing. There's just too many possibilities of me to mess this up. So we just have to let Tom do it. Hi, everybody.
I don't know where the other panel is.
Yeah. Well, I can't see anything then if there's no other panel.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Hold on. Just going to share it out while Tom's figuring this out. Sorry, everybody. We try our level best. Kathleen's here.
I don't know. Can you operate without it?
Sure. Let's do this. Just do this. See, this is what happens. Also, it is actually not. Yeah, I'm synced up now. Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm just going to share this a couple
And
places here.
I shared it as well.
Did ya?
I just did.
Awesome.
Did you share it on yours?
Ah.
You're muted.
I tell you.
There you go. There you go.
A little bit of further help. Hi, everybody. My name is Mary Beckman. This is Metaphysical Meltdown. We do these about a week or so. My guest today is Justin Martinez. He has a story to tell. So hang with us. It's about an hour long or so. And welcome, Justin. I'm just going to turn it over to you because you have a big story and I'm just going to stay out of the way. Is it okay to ask people's questions to you as I see them?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And actually, I was hoping that you would kind of guide me down this journey because it is such a, there's so many layers to it, right? That a guide, keep me on track, keep me focused, right? So
I will.
ask all the questions you like.
Okay, that's great. So if you would just tell people where you're from and a little bit of how we know one another, because I knew you from a very specific spot in your life and then up to now. So I don't know your whole story, and there'll be people out there that don't know your story. So could you please talk about what happened to you to get you to today? I'm just going to break in every once in a while because I might have a question. I might have somebody else's question. And then I'd love it later for you to talk about what you do these days to keep yourself healthy and what you do in the world to help everybody, because you do a lot.
Gotcha.
And I'll break in for sure.
Perfect. So that's it. So there's a lot to cover, right? How let's start off by how we know each other, right? So I was recommended to reach out to you by some friends in tribe. You know, Kelly was one of the individuals that said, "Hey, get a hold of Mary. She has something to tell you." And Amaral,
Okay.
get a hold of Mary. So this is pre my visit to Alaska. So this from a linear time span, it's 2022. 2022 is when you and I came in contact, right? And at that time, I had just gotten back from a trip to Alaska, and I spent the summer in Alaska on a fishing vessel, feeding the marine life of Prince William Sound, and I ended up getting sick and developed sepsis as a result of that infection. And when we came in contact, it was within 2 months of me returning back from Alaska, post hospital emergency situation, because my body went into septic shock, and as a result of septic shock, I mean, my body was failing, and so post exit in of the hospital in Alaska, I was told to, I almost died. I was really sick, get a lot of antibiotics, and then um, I guess transition my way to healing. Start letting my bottom system heal, right? And that's when some beautiful individuals entered my life. Um, in which I refer to as tribe, right? And they're familiar face, the familiar friends that Pamela, Lisa,
Sure.
Lola, Amaral, Derek.
Yeah.
They have such a and the Wizards, right? They all have such a fantastic place, it means so much to me, an important space in my life, because they entered my life during a time where I was going through so much, right? And and was still sick.
Yeah.
Right?
That's when I met you. You were still pretty sick.
I was still really sick, and so through a series of different sessions, right? I had a really phenomenal experience in the healing chamber that at the Wizard's place with all of them, around me. It was amazing. But then you were the next person. Uh, you were the It was recommended I reach out to you, and that's how we kind of came together and um, connected. I reached out to you, and you walked me through some a session. You
Yeah.
know, guided me through a session is what you did, and where some important work was done, right? Some really important work, and you encouraged me to feed my soul, right? You told me to feed my soul. Now, at the time, I didn't know. I knew I was sick, but I thought I was mending from the illness. I didn't know how sick I was. But enter spirit. Spirit calls me, or I hear a call to go to Kauai, right? And at the time I was being guided um, to reach out to my Lemurian family, right? And so I got the call, the spirit that go to Kauai, right? And it's like kind of it was I knew that there were significant portals, let's say, on Kauai, and it's a sacred space, right? So I knew that going in, and answered that call. And because of the network of friends and the individuals that I interact with, it actually became more of a mission for me.
I,
Um, right?
I bet it
Not,
did. Did you go
well,
physically there? You went physically to Kauai?
yeah,
Yeah, I kind of
yeah.
sort of remember that. Okay, go on.
Yeah, remember that? Okay, so yeah, this is where so here I get the call to go to Kauai. I'm sick, right? I'm fighting. My body's fighting, coming back from toxic shock, right, or septic shock.
Okay.
So the doctors had referred. They told me to take it easy. Like it's going to take a while, right? To anyhow. So I go to Kauai hearing the call to heal my physical vessel, but at the same time, I had been also healing my spiritual bodies and my energetic bodies the last three, the previous 3 months, right? If you're talking linear, from a linear standpoint. And so I was was gifted a bag of shungite, and part of the work that I was doing not only was mending my physical vessel, but I was presenting an offering to the island of Kauai to because I know how powerful of a element that shungite is, and repair. Just so many benefits. Anyhow, so I at the time, first 4 days, 5 days of landing in Kauai, I spent that entire time walking intentionally, placing stones all around the island and hooking it up to the shungite grid, right?
Well,
So I did that with intention, right? And during that time, the first 4 days, I noticed that my right ankle started swelling, right? So this is in the first week of arriving in Kauai. I noticed my legs, swollen, and I was mindful just because I experienced, the hospital stay in Alaska. I knew that I was fighting my body was in repair mode, like recuperation mode. So I was really aware of anything unusual happening to my physical vessel, right? So I noticed that my ankle was swollen. I thought that's odd. I better go have it looked at, right? So I went to the hospital to have it looked at in Kauai, and I explained to them, hey, I just battled sepsis up in Alaska, and could you draw my blood? Could you check making sure that I don't have a blood clot? Because I just flew here from Washington State. Anyhow, they did that, and at the time they didn't notice anything unusual. As a matter of fact, I was told that um, they see the doctor implied that he sees gout all the time. To elevate my foot and take it easy for a while, and you know, drink a lot of water and go swim. I mean, that was the we were in a healing island, healing environment. That was the discharge instructions, right? Go take it easy, bro. Right?
yeah,
Go swim.
that's
Well,
pretty good.
and so here there I was sitting. I felt like I had completed like a mission, so to speak. Setting up a grid, um, and left offerings of shungites in prominent places. Not only the significant portals, of Anahala, yeah, Polyholly and Anahola, right? Um, but also the areas that like that the observation towers, the
Oh,
antennas. Yeah, I did it, and also played the whole Pono frequency through the radio towers, through the whole land. Like I did a full, like, blown activation, right? And so I was feeling like my mission was complete. I was still feeling sick. I was told to take it easy. Well, and I was taking it easy. I was beaching it, and and going and visiting some, like, for example, they have a Hindu temple that I really enjoyed my time there. Right, the scenery is beautiful. Um, the for me, watching the ceremony was beautiful to participate in the ceremony. I didn't know what was happening. I just wore the garb and followed along with what the other individuals were doing. But guess what I found, Mary? Because I pushed. Okay. I did something I normally wouldn't do, right? Because it wasn't in my awareness. But then I did it. I go inside this temple. I'm sitting there. I'm doing the meditation, right? And I'm listening. And I glance over my shoulder, and there's the book, the Lemurian Scrolls, sitting right there on the,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So I was like, wow, this is it's somehow there's a link there, you know. I'm literally in a sacred space, right? And there's a book showing me, what I feel, what resonates true to me, right? Okay. So a month later, a month goes by. I'm still doing my thing in Hawaii, on Hawaiian Islands. And my swelling didn't subside. It actually ended up getting worse, so to speak. It traveled from one leg to the other. So a month later, I'm hobbling, literally hobbling, because I couldn't, my body wasn't functioning properly. And so I went back into the same hospital, and they saw me, and the same doctor walked over, and he's like, do you live on the island? I'm like, no. Do you have family that lives on the island? No. Okay, well, we got to, what did he say? He said, your situation is an emergency, and we got a flight that'll be here in 15 minutes. You know, basically, I had the keys to my rental car in my pocket, sitting right. I could see the car from where I was sitting, and he's telling me that I'm being life flighted to Honolulu, and it happened like that, right? So it just, I had my wallet and my keys, and just left everything and was life flighted, and woke up a couple hours, an hour later in Oahu. Now that happened on September, excuse me, January 29th of 2023. And although the emergency blood clot surgery was successful, right? They successfully got the blood clots out, and I was alive. It was great news. I then wake up to them telling me, right? And that's what they do at the doctor when you're in the hospital, tell you what they're going to do, right? They told me that the infection was way worse than they had anticipated, and it wasn't the concern wasn't blood clots anymore. Concern was the infection that in my blood, right? From what had happened is for the from August through December, I was on antibiotics, right?
Oh, okay.
And the antibiotics created a healthy environment for candida to thrive.
Yeah.
So my infection turned from a from a staph. So I was fighting a staph infection, but also fighting candida poisoning, right? A candida infection. So the two combined, what was happening on a blood level is that the blood began to crystallize, the candida began to crystallize in my blood. So pieces were starting to break off as the heart pumps, right? And literally began sending little razor blades, I guess, of crystalline, you know, what yeast, yeah, yeast through my system, right? And as a result of that, they told me that they they needed my heart. My heart was now, it went from having blood clots like last night to today, oh my gosh, we need to take your heart out. I'm like, what? You know, I wasn't prepared for that news at the time, right? Anyhow, so what turned in from what started off as blood clots turned into open heart, turned into where they rebuilt my upper aortic. I had three valves, three places in my heart that was repaired, right? After being out of my body for 6 hours. I had the when they got the heart operating properly, it was doing its job, but the infection. So what made it tricky is that my blood was infected at the time, and so it was pumping all the infected blood throughout my system, doing more damage, right? And because it was working properly and doing its job um, as it's supposed to, it was also pumping the crystallized blood through my arteries, which then began to explode. So that, you know, they have all these medical terminology for these things, right? But really, long and the short of it is, I had 8 surgeries, which included 40 hours of vascular surgery. Yeah, so I was eviscerated. Essentially, I was eviscerated from the inside, like all the arteries that your blood travels through. Those are all taken out, and I got new ones in, right?
Yeah,
So
plus everything else that happened, right? Because you had a lot of healers working on you on different levels, right?
correct. So it was just really how I I guess the way to rephrase that is I spent 6 months hospitalized as a result of right of the stuff that, you know, the illness, and it each operation was more complicated than the one previous, you know? And so it got to a point where my chances of survival were incredibly low, right?
From their standpoint, right?
From there, from the 3D, you know, doctor world, medical standpoint, let's just say there was a lot of complicated stuff going on, right? And they the from a medical perspective, based upon their experience, the odds of survival were not very high. However, through my time that I spent there at the hospital, their perspective has changed, because I'm the one guy that helped them push the limits on certain procedures, right? That can be done, right? So anyhow,
I want to stop you there because there's so
yeah,
many questions to ask.
yeah.
So what I'm noticing is you're working really hard to remember the 3D, because you are such an easy speaker when you're talking in much higher. So you're remembering what happened to you. And the only thing I have to say to you is thank you for your service, for going through and hooking all of that stuff up, because your body went, what? And kind of went, which is what the physical body does. Because many of us are in service on this planet for so many reasons. And you were giving it your all, just about.
Yeah.
And from the doctor's perspective, which they love to call a buddy, they like to phone a buddy. They phoned a lot of buddies on you, and you had some really crazy stuff happening. But
Yeah.
once your body went, oh, I know what to do. you came back and became a healer of others. Probably you were before. I mean, I don't even know because I don't know you before, but I do know you now. And what you do now is fascinating. So that story right there is blood curdling, actually. And I remember this as he walked us through it. I remember those hours of you were in surgery. I remember that. So what I would love you to say is how much has this changed your life? Your work and the result from it, and now you're back being a much healthier person. What's your work like nowadays?
Well, I'll say this. I'll say that you're I chose to find um, practices, right? Energetic practices that fit my life. Let's say fit my lifestyle. That was easy, right? And and based upon personal experience, I like the highest timeline with ease and grace. Just that to me has been so beneficial in in learning to work with my energy, right? Like really managing my energy. Um, I'm not the same person. Not in any like in any area of my like life. I'm not the same person. There's been such a transformation that has taken place, not just on the physical, but also on the emotional and the spiritual level and bigger picture work, as a result of my journey, right?
Yes.
There's so many layers, and it's so we, I was going to say, I was having a conversation and we were discussing about how much life has changed,
Mhm.
right? And the important takeaway from the conversation was to to not add new things to complain about on the list, right?
Oh,
Right. That's because a lot of the former things that I was working through, right, are no longer an issue,
exactly.
right? So it's like I've worked through that. It's no longer an issue. Why add more stuff to the list? It doesn't make sense to me, right? So I've done from a perspective of I don't I've done a pretty good job with being able to kind of detach myself away from everything, only because I've had to, right?
Mm.
It's how I've had to navigate my journey. Um, so what I can say is the the classes, right? The the, my experience with the classes that I attend, certain energetic practices that I do have changed me in such a lighter, like literally, I'm lighter, right? I feel lighter. Yeah, I've got certain challenges and things that I have to negotiate, but ultimately, I'm a better person. The time that I that I save, right? I make space for that time. It's like that's like, well, don't interfere with Mary's class, right? Or what other classes, right? This is
That's
like my yeah, it's and that I want to be able to express that I know how difficult it is to get stuck in, like really get stuck in trapped, like trapped in whatever, like the mental state, the emotional state, all of it, right? I had a lot of time to think lying in bed for 6 months straight, right? And naked, Mary, I was naked. Can you believe that? Yeah.
Wow.
But
Visual.
all, yeah. See, the funny thing is once like all of the things that you normally worry about or things that are like a big thing, they become not a big thing, right? So the universe showed me how not a big thing things are, right?
Yeah.
By making my stuff big, right? Magnifying it. And now I've been able to get a handle on navigating my system, and I can really easily spot what's mine, what's not mine, right?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have been able to do that hadn't I done, been doing the work, right? So, um,
So almost dying is actually doing the work. Sorry, everybody. It kind of is. It kind of is because it is. So I was watching you for the first, what, 25, 30, well, about 25 minutes of this time that you were talking, and you were in the past. So everybody spotted that. I forget who said it was. Justin seems to be struggling to find the human words to make it understandable for us. He got it and understood it in his way, but it was so 3D. I can feel how easily Justin speaks spiritually and energetic. You do. When you're speaking energy, when you are speaking sound, when he is talking about experiences that he has, he's an easy speaker because he's in a much higher dimension. So instantly at about the 25-minute mark, your energy just because you went, yeah, I'm that stuff is old. So what he's trying to say that I'm just going to say in a different way. Let me see if I can get rid of this without losing everybody. Nope. Can you still see me?
yeah,
Justin?
again, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can't see you. I tried. Oh, son of a biscuit. Anytime I touch this computer, I don't have the skills to get myself back to where I actually need to be. So I'm just going to go on not being able to see you. Okay. So what
I
was
can hear
going?
you.
Yeah, you can hear me. So that's all we need. So what happened was Justin got back into his highest timeline of the moment, which he did. He just did. Okay. But prior to that, I was figuring out what was going on with Justin, and why he was sounding the way he was. If you guys notice, he kept looking up. He was remembering something that was so far in the past. And maybe if Tom's still listening, Tom, maybe you can come and help me. Tom Beckman, if you could come and help me, that would be great. I don't know if you can, because I like to see you in real life. But what I saw, dear, is I just want to stop it for a second. You were connected to all those places in a big way. You were meant to be there to do the work you did. And then your body went, right? And so now you are in a part where you are rebuilding in such a higher way. And so I'm going to just see. So people are saying, yeah, way to come back. Seriously, he has really come back. Let me see if I can get my husband to help me. So go ahead and talk about whatever you want to talk about, Justin. I'm going to get my husband to help me a second. Hey, sweetie, I can't see anything. No. That's why I need some basic computer skills. He's gonna help me. He's gonna help me. There I go. Woo, out the door. Here he comes. So I try to get rid of oh, thank you. Okay, so I tried to technology gets me every time. So when I was looking at you, I went to see a code that I could understand, and the code was ease up. So when you eased up in your life, when you started saying, oh, hey, I'm getting a little bit better here, I'm learning these lessons, I'm connected, I'm doing this good work, yada, yada, your whole system eased up. And then you got into all the cool stuff you're into now. So can you talk to everybody about some of the stuff that you use on a daily basis. Yeah, Tom to the rescue. On a daily basis to help yourself still. And I love the point where you say your classes are sacred. My classes are sacred. I sit down and listen to certain people, and that's my day. It's really important to do that work. You get to a certain point where, yeah, you want to learn new stuff. We have to be open to that all the time, I believe, humbly. Okay, so go ahead, Justin. This is you now. That was my 2 minutes while I was fixing myself.
Well, I'll go, but I'll go back to do it. How do I say this? Doing what I know works, right? Like fundamentally, I know that um, drinking structured water, like fundamental. And start off if you want to start off the base, I'm really mindful about what I put in, what I drink, what I eat, much on, kind of have like I'm forced to, but that's the universe provided that for me to to uh to learn, I guess, to learn the mindfulness, right? So I start off with structured water, pe being in a peaceful state of being, gratitude, right? So what I found that has really helped my journey, help like the most beneficial part of the journey has been what like water my life with gratitude, water the universe with gratitude, water my experiences with gratitude. The more gratitude that I have, not only the better I feel, but it almost seems like the universe responds in kindly with bringing me more abundance. But abundance comes with a gratitude, and so mindfully, and it takes a mental awareness to live in that state of gratitude. But for me, it's a little easier because I have every reason to be, every reason in the world to be happy and gratitude. I have so much gratitude flowing through me, right? Because all my experience, everything that I've been through, if it wasn't for the compassion, the kindness, learning, uh, the love of others that poured onto me, I wouldn't be here. I like I wouldn't be here. So to me, like peaceful state, gratitude, and then there's certain energetic practices that I do that are very complementary to the other work that I'm doing, and it's just kind of that's what's been the most transformative, I guess, is seeing the universe respond to the gratitude. That in itself is a big change, right? When you start, and then you start really watering it, the more gratitude, then it's like something shifts, something occurs, it shifts that it's like abundance. All of a sudden, I'm not even the same. I don't have the same worries that I used to have. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I call that getting. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I call that getting out of our way. And sometimes we write into our chart something super huge to help us get out of our own way. And then once we become grateful, then pretty much your loved one shows up. A good place to live shows up. Abundance shows up, all that kind of stuff. But we have to get out of our own way. What you were talking about earlier, you said, I don't need that old stuff to be part of my day. You were talking about, I think that's your sweetheart sitting next to you. So you and your sweetheart were talking about not having to go through all of that old stuff every day, because that's what the human does. What the human does is somebody will say, how you doing? And the human, instead of saying, great, look at it, snowed this morning. That's what happened to us. We woke up and went, whoa. Instead of saying it snowed, you might say, my back hurts. You know, back in 1974, I got a war wound. And that might just come from how you doing. And so those are humans that have not let go all of that back stuff. So they're still carrying it, their backstory, they're still carrying it. So when you call it a backstory, it really is your backstory because it hangs on your back. But so you do things like sound, you listen to tones and stuff. Could you tell people how they can do that? Because that's really important.
Absolutely. And so part of my the process of healing myself, and that's really what my focus has been. I got to heal my vessel, right? Got to heal. Right. So I was guided to check out frequencies, right? And I've studied frequencies, and particular frequencies, for a decade plus. Specific harmonics and a combination of frequencies has the ability to actually make a difference in cellular regeneration, bioregeneration, right? And so I figured that I was in a spot where I could use the healing. Why not put it to the test, right? So I did, and I found that specific frequencies are highly beneficial for cellular regrowth. Basically, putting your body into a bioregenesis state, right? So your healthy cells are multiplying versus degenerative cells, right? And there's all different types of frequencies. I like the easy button, right? One friend's tool came into my awareness. That a gal named Bianca has a app called Simatones. Anyhow, long and short of it is, she has an easy way. I used it. It uses the combination of the elements in traditional Chinese medicine, as well as alternating frequencies to target particular spots on your body, and it works. And I've got from a personal standpoint, it's been beneficial because I was able to document my my regimen, right? Of these are the tones that I'm listening to. This is what my blood work is showing, right?
Oh, wow.
So I have a timeline. Literally, I've got the receipts of all of this. This is what I've done. This is what the doctors are saying that my blood was to now it's at a healthy state, non-disease, so to speak, right? So I know that it works, and I've got the receipts. So that's the easy way. Simatones, they got an easy way. But just like anything, you have to be consistent. I found that I had to be consistent about my time, right? So because not everybody. I found, for me personally, after I understood the science behind it, doesn't matter if you're awake or if you're sleeping. Your tympanic membrane just has to vibrate. So your ears, it has to be audible enough for your ears to tickle, right? And then the body does all the rest. So I just started listening to it at night. I'd sleep, right? I'd sleep at very low audible, and so I would say that I was doing extra credit work, right? Double duty, right? I had all this time on my hands. I was trying to heal, so I incorporated the cymatones along with the structured water, along with um, um, shungite therapy, right? The lounge, and a and that in a combination of the spiritual practices, the energetic practices that I do, um, I can legitimately say I'm not the same individual, and it's helped. Um, but it requires, you know, that discipline. Really, that's what, Mary, I hate to say it, but it does. It requires discipline, right?
It does. It is. That's kind of a hard thing to say to folks as well. If you really, 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 really want to get better and change your life, you have to be disciplined to, wow. Some people are just like, yeah, I don't have the time because they're focused on that old stuff, you know, and we just have to be very loving and just keep hoping the best for folks to really just want to get out there and do their own work, because their own work's going to look like their own work, not like ours. Everybody's going to look different to figure it out. I used to have the luxury of being semi close to the wizard's elven chamber. I've been in that thing a couple times. Of course, just going to Mystical Wares makes you feel good. And I find I dream about you guys, all of you guys at Mystical Wares often. I'm often visiting Derek in my dream. And you know, we all have access to structured water. However, I'm rounding up to say something. No matter where we live, we have access to sacred sites. We have access to go outside, put our feet in the dirt. You got access to everything. And so you kind of want to use the everything. So I want to tell you a very quick story because I really want to get your opinion on this. So a couple days, some people know this. My friend, I think I told a couple friends this, but a couple nights ago, I dreamed that I was at the store, and it was an old rustic, really rustic store, like you might see in the desert somewhere. And I was coming out and I was holding my two woven blankets. They were wool. They were wool, army looking blankets. And I was there with Todd and Morgan, and we were there for a rock concert, allegedly. There were people around us, and I said, so, hey, you guys, where you want to sit? And Todd goes, over there. So I spread the two blankets out so that we could sit, and everybody was sitting on a rock. We were sitting directly in front of this giant boulder, a rock concert, right? And I turned to him and I said, time, space, and matter. And then I woke up. And it didn't occur to me what I was supposed to do. So then the next day, I was eating my fruit in the morning, watching something. I forget what it was. And somebody was talking about bending spoons. And I looked there and I looked at my fork and I went, okay, Nostradamus, what's the deal here? And he goes, don't even worry about it. Lift that rock. Isn't that crazy? We dream about one another, don't we? Because we're working together, are we not? I think so too.
We are.
Can you tell everybody the feeling of being in the Elven's chamber?
Um, I've from a sensation standpoint, I it feels like you're in a cocoon of high, high energy cocoon. And that's really so you can, from a sensation, you know, you can feel the seems like higher vibrations inside the chamber than on the outside of the chamber. You get inside the chamber, you get it, you know, it's amplified all the way around you. Now, from a what can be done within the work that can be done by using the chamber depends on what someone's after. But yeah, there's a lot that can be done. But you definitely know, like, some transformational shifts occur,
Mhm.
right? It can occur within that cocoon,
Yes.
right? And bringing together in my personal case, um, there was a lot of ancestral healing work that
Okay.
was done, right? That was done, and it was really powerful to witness and be a part, be a party to, right? Experience, because in this particular session, I found out that one of my some of the trauma was non-intentional trauma. It was an occurrence that happened, and as a result of what had happened, um, eh, a lot of heaviness, the stuff that comes with the trauma, right? I was carrying that, and so we were able to shift a lot of that uh, away, and that's the type of work that can happen within that chamber. So it depends on what you're looking to do, but highly worth it.
It was very worth it. So if anybody is up north from Seattle, you should get a hold of Wizard Azanon, Azanon, and see if he is wanting to fire up the chamber. That is the thing, is that the family stuff is heavy. The line stuff is super heavy. And right now we can release that. We can release right now so quick, so that
Yeah.
then once you've released the majority of stuff, you can start just doing the day. So what that means, if you have something going on in the day you wish to release, you could do that super instantly. How did you feel overnight, the last couple nights? Could you feel that odd energy? People were saying that it was something about some kind of a radiation thing that was different than normal. All I know was before I went to bed, I saw a certain team that you and I work with that we're not going to say. And that team said, stay with us. And I did. I had a very peaceful night's sleep, a really long night's sleep, like at least 8 hours or more. So, did you feel anything last night?
I, I feel nothing. I'll say this: nothing that's even more unusual than I'm already feeling, right? And I'm saying unusual in your in context with, I got all kinds of we're experiencing all kinds of activity, right? Of various beings. So to try to, I'm like, everything's weird, right? I'm figuring out, I'm navigating that all, right? I'm navigating the wow, they're new, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, so we're right now. I'm adjusting, and that's really what it is adjusting to there's visitors. Well, we have visitors. Well, we have visitors, and and that excitement of who am I establishing communication with? They're here. I mean, they're here on the physical. I see them. They're here, right? So it's just it's that interacting with them has been interesting, because um, these aren't normal conversations. You can't have these conversations with normies, because they typically, right?
Uh-huh.
When someone starts telling about invisible beings and beings that other people can't hear or see, typically people wind up in the, um,
Not hatch.
taking a medication for that to quiet the imaginary friends, but they're not
Oh, yeah.
imaginary and they're here, right? So that's what
There.
we're dealing with. And so the it's interesting, and that's what I was hoping to get a little bit uh clarification on, because how I feel is I have established a pretty like a I'm not worried about my space, right? Worried about the boogeyman getting me. So
Yes.
you know what I mean? I'm not worried. It's not, now it's like, okay, I've secured let's say a perimeter, a field, the Faraday cage, right? Now what I'm experiencing is that in order to be within this cage, you have to manage a certain frequency, maintain a certain frequency. And so the shielding work and stuff that's required is, I don't, it's no longer I'm not as fixated anymore. And now it's about learning who's this? What do you do? How does this work? Show me. And I'm at the show me phase.
Good. I love the show me phase. Me too. I learned that from Derek. Derek will say, show me, you know. And of course, you have to be willing to also just say, this is my perimeter, off you go, because, I'm making dinner or whatever. Seriously. There's also been a lot of dead coming to say hello, and I've been appreciating that.
Yeah, I also have experienced that. It's interesting. You know, I know that I have loved ones around.
Mm.
For me, I haven't had the interaction yet, and um, let's say they haven't materialized like in the 3D. I can just see the orbs, right? The I know that they're present. Who they are, I don't know, but they're in the list of gratitude, beings that I'm grateful for, right? And that's that's it seems like that gratitude list or my prayer list is getting longer, right? That's what I'm finding is like, and it's more spent on telling, sharing how grateful I am for their presence, right? But it's gotten, the list has gotten bigger, bigger, and bigger, right? And that's something that I've noticed big time.
Yes. So that's what
Yeah.
they're take away with is where your gratitude gets list longer than your complaint list. You're going in the right direction. So I had a couple people come through today that were on the other side, and I'm going to share about one of them later. That was a holy crap moment for me, because in the back of our mind, we get to a point where we say, I know you are totally real. I can see you. I know you're real. And then there's a little piece and you go, really? You know? And we get to a point where we're just welcoming them in and being grateful and that you see more. And, there's messages. This person had a very big outward life. And so this person had a really awesome way of understanding that she's going to give her message probably in a couple hours when I get ready to put it out today. But I'm with you, Justin. There's a lot around us now that we can learn from. And if we're just open to learning from others that don't look like us, then how much we truly will learn. So Kelly says it's an amazing thing. She's been in that chamber. And also Michelle says a high energy cocoon. She said that was well said. Yeah, it feels like many beings are around there, and you can hear Jeff's really lovely voice saying all the stuff he says, and then pretty soon you're just wherever. It's pretty awesome. So Justin, is there anything you would like to say? You've hit the magic hour. You did amazing talking about what happened to you, and you're very inspiring to people. That's why I wanted you to be here, because you made your life into what you wanted it to be that you didn't even know you wanted to be that way. I love how you looked down and you saw the Lemurian book. It's all connected, as we all know, and it all comes from who you are. So anything you'd like to say nearing the end?
No, it was nice, very nice to catch up, and I'm sure there'll be more adventures to share, right? I'm hoping there are. So I'm really looking forward to this next chapter, right? Um, so that's uh, I was guided to say, don't give up, right? Just keep pushing through, just keep doing the work, right? Because baby, you think of baby steps or small turtles paddling to the ocean, right? It, it feel like they're doing this and not going anywhere, right? And exhausting, but through time or over the course of time, you'll get there, right? That and like really that's what the takeaway, right? That I want to leave. It's just everybody, what does that, not to give up and just keep doing the baby step, little micro, what little minute micro steps, mini steps, until until you regain your balance, like literally regain your balance, right? Because we are living in a very unsteady, let's say reality. So not to give up, and yeah, and all those little steps that you don't think are making a difference are getting you there.
Yeah,
Those
absolutely.
they really are. Those are and it's okay to take a day to breathe and rest your flippers, but
Yeah.
don't
Heck
give up, right? So that's it. That's really all I have. And thank you, Mary, so much. I really I can't thank you enough. You have been with me through some really, dark times, like literally some really dark times, spreading love, spreading light, right? And in a very um, awkward, dim time in my life, right? And you've certainly been there and assisted me, right, in a very, very powerful, deep way that I don't know that many others. I mean, I'm an unusual case, you know what I mean? But what I can say is that you're, as a friend, you've been there, right? You've been there, and you showed up, and you've created a safe environment for me to heal in, right? And I can't, you know, think enough, right?
My
So
pleasure.
thank you, thank you. I
I,
respect what you're doing. Thank you.
I hear you. I hear you. And I thank you for saying that. However, when I told people you were going to be my guest, many people who know you from class said, I think that is a very cool guy. Just to let you know. Okay, well, we thank you. So has been an hour with the Big Cat Daddy, and I'm blessed to have had him, and you are going to help a lot of people today, dear. And the next person who's coming up is going to be Beth Heyer on the 28th. So in 6 days, it'll be Beth. I just want to remind you guys, today's 11/22. We started at 2 my time, his time 11. Ooh, booga, booga, booga. So that's what people do when you're kind of a little bit plugged in, like we hope we are on most days. We just keep our flippers going because water is the key. Okay, God bless everybody. Much love, dear.
Thanks.